Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, we're live, everybody, just so you know.
Okay. I don't know why my camera doesn't seem to be working, huh? Same thing as last time, right?
Yeah.
Right there. I don't see me at all. Well, I don't know how to get it going. So.
Do you want to try shutting it off again and turning it back on?
I can try. So. I'll try again. Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. Looks like it's warm where you are, Dan.
Yeah, it's hot. Mardi Gras. None of them are wearing masks, neither. Crazy Americans.
Oh,
Hi.
Hello.
Still not
no.
working, I. Mhm.
Ryan, does your camera plug into a USB port?
Yeah,
Did you unplug the USB port and then plug it back in?
I did that, and I'll do it again though. Okay, so I can see myself in the camera, but I don't know how to get it onto the screen. Settings. Any
You
ideas,
did the
anyone?
3 dots in the corner? Did you check the 3 dots in the corner?
Of the camera or of,
No, in the corner of your telephone sign that's beside. There's 3 dots in the corner on your frame.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, press that and
All
then
it
come
says is
down
start
and
video,
drop.
rename. Oh,
Start video.
Hide non-video participants and hide self.
Does it say start video?
Nope. Oh yeah,
Oh.
there.
Yeah.
Cannot start video. No, can't do this one, right?
Also, there's another one, the bottom left-hand corner. There's nothing there until you put your mouse there, and another drop screen will come up. And go on the bottom left-hand side of your
Yeah,
screen.
join audio and start video.
Yep, press that again.
Okay, so I've done that.
And it still doesn't work.
Oh, doing something. Yeah, start video. Okay, I guess we should go ahead. I'll try to figure it out later. Sorry about that. Okay, gonna start the meeting. I got 7-Eleven. I'm really sorry about that. I'll call the meeting to order at 7-Eleven. Does anyone have any written disclosure of pecuniary conflict of interest?
Yes,
Sandy?
No, I don't.
Dan?
No.
Heather?
No,
Dean?
yes, I submitted one for agenda items, or agenda number 6, item H. The item involved Stewart's Road, and I declared because family owns property on that road. Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor Pennell, do you want to take attendance before we go any farther?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do attendance. Sandy? You're here? Dan?
Here.
Heather?
present.
And Dean?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Not sure if I did. Petitions delegations is the next item on the agenda, which we have none. Next item on the agenda is report from municipal officers. And our first up there is Chris Raleigh, Road Superintendent. Can you go ahead, Chris?
Can you hear me okay?
No.
No what?
No, we can't hear him very well.
Oh, okay.
No.
Closer to your camera, or yeah, to your speaker?
No.
No, don't hear him.
Here I was thinking that that was the only one that didn't have.
I hear you now a little bit. You're faint though.
Okay, I'll try to talk real loud.
Okay.
Better.
Any better?
Hey.
Okay, you have my report. I'd kind of like to go through each item one by one if we can. On item number one, do you guys know what an e-test is?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on that? Item number two, November the 8th,
Don't hear anything.
I can't
No,
hear
I
you
can't hear
again,
anything
Chris.
now.
oh, no.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Got
Oh,
it.
see, that's good.
What's that?
That's good
That's
there.
good.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, on November the 9th, we got an excavator that we rented with a rock breaker on it. That went very well. I basically let the co-op student run it, and he did an excellent job with it. We went around to the township.
No,
Fading
lost
out
you
again.
Maybe I'll just leave it to you guys if you have any. Can you hear me okay?
Not really.
What if you call in, Chris?
Okay. Can you remember?
I'll email it to you.
So my Zoom meeting is not responding? Darn. My internet is really, really slow tonight.
It's the perils of living out here so far.
Can everybody see me now?
Nope.
No? It says I should be there.
Well, I have this phone.
Chris,
Okay.
you're gonna have to turn off the speaker or the microphone on your computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom left-hand corner.
I see you, Ian.
See me? Good.
Yep,
I don't see you.
You gotta scroll down.
I got it
He's there.
unmuted. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Yay!
Oh man, computers and technology has got no place in my world.
Me either.
Okay, let's start over again.
All right.
Now that you can hear me.
Yep.
Okay. On November the 11th, I had RNS Mobile do a e-test on our older truck, the 7605. So the emissions are good on that truck. I think you're allowed up to 40% particles in the exhaust, and it's at 14. Next year we'll have to do 7615, which is the newer truck. After 5 years old, they have to be done every year or every second year. On November the 18th, we rented, November the 9th, we rented a 311 Caterpillar excavator with a rock breaker, and we started breaking the rock on the little knoll on Bruley Road. It went very well. We used a co-op student, give him a lot of training, a lot of seat time, and he did an excellent job. We moved the excavator around with my tag along behind 7605 from one site to another, and we broke rock on Bronson Lake Road and on Homestead. And that the money was used for the rental payment out of the ditching budget that was left. We had approximately $5,000 left, and I think it was $3,600 for the rental for the week. On November the 27th, we received a complaint from a resident that we were encroaching on private property. And I've gone and I've measured this road several times from the survey picket to survey picket, and we are well within our road allowance. In fact, if anything, their fence is on the township property. So the only place is where we dump the rock, and it's viewed as, it can be viewed as the forest road in that section. And what a forest road is where a publicly used existing road on private land, usually to get around an obstacle that prevents a road from being built on the surveyed public road allowance. So there's lots of forest roads within the municipality, and the boundaries are basically where there has been public money spent on the road, like brushing and ditching and so on. And this section of road that you're complaining about the encroachment it's a steep section right next to the edge of the road. There was an accident there quite a few years ago where a young fellow was killed, and it's a place that we wanted to improve the edge of the road. And we had this blasted or broken rock. There was only about 8 loads of it went there, and we smoothed it all off nice. You can't even tell, like it's a major improvement to the edge of the road. And I don't believe that we encroached on private property at all. The only way to prove that would be to have a survey, and I would leave that up to them. If they think we encroached on the property, for them to check the survey. So I don't know if you have any questions on that matter or not, but it's ongoing. Yeah, I guess not. Okay.
I just have a question. Will you have Cindy relay a quick letter to them explaining this? I mean, instead of them sitting there thinking that we've encroached, letting them know that we haven't, and if that they're just acknowledging that you are checking into it.
We could. I guess the word encroach does not mean trespassing. So I don't know if they're just warning us of the property boundary, but I pretty well know where the property boundary is. And they asked for a copy of the letter to be included in your package, and I assume you've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, we could have some sort of response. Number 4, I obtained permission from a property owner to access their property to break beaver dams. We've done this in several places throughout the township, and it's just to prevent flooding of specific roads and ditches throughout the township. Kind of a normal procedure. Usually try to get the person to send an email to the township just to say you grant us permission to access the property. On number 5, on November the 12th, we brought 7605 back to Peterborough and North Bay to do another diagnostic check. And this was just to verify or confirm that the issue we had with the overheating was repaired. So we had no other parameters, and the engine check was good. There was a slight leak in the exhaust manifold, and it's probably just a matter of replacing the gasket, but nothing major. On number 6, on November 16th, I received a text saying there was a tree down at 4:30 in the morning on Peddler's Drive. So we responded right away, and by 6 o'clock that morning we had the tree removed. It was a large spruce tree at the top of the Cheese Factory Hill, if you know where that is, and it had pulled the big bell wire down onto the road, and we had the road open by 6 o'clock.
Yes.
November the 18th, we hosted a commercial vehicle wheel service training course at the Public Works Garage. This is one of the courses I've been pushing for years, and what it allows us to do is legally remove and replace and retorque the wheels on the township trucks or the fire trucks or anything like that. So now we have 3 guys from the roads department and 1 guy from the fire department that are now trained A couple of them still have to do the online test. And once they do that test and complete it, then they are certified. There was a recommendation from the instructors for a few things at the counter garage. Which included a tire inflation cage, and this is like a cage that you would put the tire inside to air it up in case of an explosion. There's been some documentation of people getting pretty severely hurt with exploding tires, especially what they call the zipper effect, where the sidewall of the tire lets go. And but that part is very expensive. We were between the $1,000 and the $2,000 mark, so I'm still shopping around for that. Some small 6-foot inflator gauge, which allows you to inflate the tire by standing back 6 feet away from it. It's got a pressure gauge and everything on it, which makes you can see what kind of pressure you got in the tire, and you're not within close range of the tire if it explodes. Some stud protectors to protect the studs on the trucks, on the wheels, and possibly some new 20-ton steel jack stands. We use wooden blocks right now, but a steel one would be a lot safer. So the tire inflation or the tire inflation cage would probably be a budget item for next year. On Tuesday, December the 1st, we had that first 3 inches of snow, and then that night we got another close to 10 inches of snow. And both trucks were out. It was a slow process because the roads were so soft and wet, and the snow was sticky, and we had to go slow and steady to make sure that we have no incident. It's very easy for the front plow to stick into the ground or the road, and if you're going more than 30 kilometers per hour, for example, you could walk right up over top of the front plow. So it's just slow and steady wins the race, and we were all done by noon, and it went very well. You'll see in the package, I sent a letter off to Miller Group expressing my disappointment in the final results of the bridge, the Hackenbrook Bridge. And I guess you've had a chance to read it. To me, it's pretty clear that they're not going to come back and do what they said they were going to do to re-index the abutments and to straighten the guardrails. So next summer, I guess we're going to do that ourselves.
Sandy, do you have any?
Sorry, unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
Sandy, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Dan?
No questions.
Heather?
With the letter you sent, it was very poignant and on point, but I wish we had said no action is ready, because that just says, it's okay, we're gonna let you go. I wish they'd have to answer with something, you said, do you have a personal contact there at that group?
Well, we were able to call them. I'm hoping that they would contact me after they get the letter. But at the same token, it's been 2 years now. It's pretty obvious that they're not going to come back and do it.
Right.
And for what's left to do, we can handle that ourselves. And I just wanted them to know that we were not satisfied.
Yeah, that was clear. That's very good. It was very good, well written letter. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Dean, would you have any comment?
Not right now, no. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Next report is from Dean Maxwell, Fire Chief. You're on mute, Dean.
All right, can you hear me
There you
now?
Yep.
Excellent. So for the month of November, it was pretty quiet for us. We've had 2 calls. We had a call on November 15th. We got paged out for Papineau to assist on a structure fire. Luckily, it got called off. It was just somebody starting up the fire, and somebody driving by called it in. So we were turned around, and we didn't actually make the scene there. We turned around and came back. On November 24th, we had a call at Columbia Forest Products at 12:03. The page came across, Columbia was full of smoke and no flame visible. We showed up on scene. Luckily, the night staff was there. They actually managed to put the fire out with 2 fire extinguishers, 2 10-pound fire extinguishers. The fire was in the electrical room portion of Columbia. There was heavy smoke when we showed up, but the fire was knocked down, and it was caused from the electricians were charging up a battery pack, but they were trying to use just a normal charger on this. I'd say it was a lithium ion pack. The pack caught fire. It burnt the bench. There was a bunch of electrical wires burnt. There was quite a bit of damage done. But Columbia Forest Products have their own electricians. He came in, shut everything down, and just isolated that section of wiring that needed to be done. So we just basically provided, we removed the source of fire out on the outside. Our guys had that. And then we used our power ventilation fan to clear the smoke out of Columbia, which took about 45 minutes or so. It's good to see that they had a couple guys there, you know, on scene there, because that saved it again, you know. And I've been in the past, I've seen their staff actually save Columbia Forest Products a couple times, and they're a major employer for us, you know, in this area. So it'd be sad for them to see that happen there. So, you know, take our hats off to them. They did a good job there. So, so for training meeting nights, November 5th, we did foam nozzle reviews. We've had a few car fires, and we have several foam applicators here, so we just kind of went over which applicators are proper for which scene, and just kind of confirm where everything is. Stuff steadily moves around here, so it's key to stay on where everything is around here, so the guys know where it is when it comes time to go get it right. On November 12th, we reviewed our workplace harassment policy, and then we did portable pump training down at Smith Lake. November 19th, we ran all our power units, chainsaws, etc., make sure everything's running to par, and then we did some cleanup here and some repairs to the truck as well at the fire hall. On November 25th, 26th, we debriefed the fire call, which was the Columbia fire call. We do our truck checks, and that was pretty well lit for that week, that month for meetings with me. The fleet status report, we had Dan O'Grady come in here. Again, he comes in and he does all the oil changes, he greases all our trucks for us, checks all the air filters and stuff. He came in, spent pretty well almost a whole day here just servicing our trucks, but they're all been done under this year's budget. So that was pretty well lit for that. On the other hand, we had some good news come in this month about we've had training done from TC Energy, and we had Cindy help me apply for a grant. Cindy did most of the work on this one, and they approved us for a grant. What we applied for is our 2 gas detectors actually went down, and gas detectors are actually required to be tested every month as well. So we got a bump station, we applied for a bump station and 2 gas detectors. So the total of the grant they wrote us was $5,000. So that's really gratefully appreciated, and it's a really important piece of equipment that we need, and that we won't have to budget for this year. So that's great.
You said that was from TransCanada?
Yeah, so that was the guy you got us onto there, Ryan, that we did the training with that. Well, they call themselves TC Energy now. So we did the training here. We did a Zoom meeting training here with them and everything. And then he informed me that there's some grants out there and stuff. And then he sent Cindy all the information, and she did fill it out. So we haven't received the check yet, but we'll probably receive it in 3 weeks. I think the email said that was sent us. So that was great, that they like to be active in the community, and that's it's good for them, and we really appreciate that. It's great. And like I said, it's a really important piece of equipment. We've been getting lots of gas calls lately. Everybody seems to be switching to propane, so it's not uncommon now. And with the winter months coming, and the price of propane being so low, I only expect more calls. We had one of our MSA gas detectors go down this year, and we didn't have the money to buy a new one. So we're switching over to a Traeger gas detector, which is what our VAs are. They're just more user friendly, and we can get servicing like on the ball with them. We have a guy local that deals with it. So it's just going to be a good all around changeover for us. With that being said, I'd like to have a motion pass. I have some money left over in my training budget. I want to buy a laptop computer. I know we talked about this come budget time last year, but I need a laptop in this area, and it's mostly for inventory. We just got to keep. I want to be able to have access to all our inventory of our hoses and stuff. And it's also going to be. I'm going to have Jacob do this, so then he can have some more time too to be organizing some of our stuff as well when he's at home. And then this way he'll have access to it. And we talked it already, and if it's all right with you guys, I'd like to have a motion for it to be okay to purchase one. Cindy, do they need anything?
I can bring a motion to the next council meeting, so the council meeting on the December 22nd.
Okay.
Can we get a cost on that as well?
I think it's going to be around $1,200.
Okay, if you could check that out, please.
I will talk to our IT person.
But we have some money left over in the budget, in the training budget. Because of the COVID, we can't really bring trainers in, so this way it'd be beneficial for us just to stay on top of our organization, and then, like I said, it'll give Jake more time to do reports and stuff like that.
All right, thank you. Anyone have any questions for Dean, Sandy?
No questions.
Dan?
No questions.
Heather?
No,
And Dean?
No.
Okay, thank you, and thanks, Dean.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Jacob Grove Recreation Landfill and Cemetery.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes?
yes.
Okay. So for my report, I've got a couple updates to add on to it. On December 4th, we were able to finish the flooring in the community center entrance. And for the rink, we were thinking about using the existing band shell and benches that are in place and clearing out an area in there for people to put on their skates to allow for better social distancing. So that way, if there is already one family in the change room, there is an option for people to put on skates at the bench and not have to worry about getting too close to each other. I don't have anything else to add to my report. If you have any questions on the report, I want to give you an opportunity to ask them now. And then once we're done asking questions on that, I have a couple emails for both Councillor Grant and Councillor Cross with some of the budget ideas for the 2021 budget. I'd like to have a little discussion with council on that after, allow the councillors to explain their ideas to you.
Does anyone have any questions from Jacob on his report? Sandy?
No, I don't. I can't see Jacob. Heather, you said you could see him?
No,
Oh, I thought okay. I thought Jacob asked if we could see him, and
no, he asked if we could hear
Dan,
him.
do you have any questions about Jacob's report?
okay.
I have
No, I
one
don't.
question, Jacob. Not on the report, but just wondering, I noticed that we have 3 employees at the landfill site on Saturday. And I thought I gave a directive to have only 2 there. Is there something going on that requires the 3rd employee, or?
Who were the 3 employees there on Saturday? I
It was
know,
a couple Saturdays ago. The 2 students were with, both students were there with Pauline.
I know when Pauline, if it's first thing in the morning or later in the day, Pauline will open up for the students if she's not going to be there. And then leave the students there. This past Saturday, I know Pauline wasn't there. She was at the first aid training with us.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else, Dan?
There's a lot of noise on right now.
Okay, thank you. Heather, do you have anything you'd like to ask Jacob?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Dean, do you have anything?
Just, I think that, Jacob, your idea about opening up a little bit more seating in the skates is a good one. And just wanted to say that. Thank you.
I got one little question for you. It's regarding the band shell. Will you be putting up some tarps or something to keep the wind and snow out, or?
I, at this point, didn't have any plans of it. It is something that we could explore for doing early in the new year.
Okay.
Right now, I was just planning on leaving it open and hopefully coordinating with the roads department to use the backhoe to clear it out, because I believe there's no barriers at the west side of it as the railing has been removed from there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, you want to proceed to your budget items, please?
Okay. So the first email I got was from Councillor Grant with some ideas on creating a water storage stores at the recreation facilities for flooding the rink and possibly to be used as an additional water source for the fire department. Councillor Grant, if you'd like to expand upon this, and then council can ask any questions they have of it and decide if they want to proceed with me budgeting for it.
Sure, yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I'd sent an email after Jacob had requested about budget ideas. And I guess in the short term, I had maybe envisioned utilizing the tanks that we have to flood the rink. Reasons being, you don't have to risk fire trucks in the cold. I think it would possibly be an easy conversion and or easier. And we don't need to have specialized, when you're using a fire truck, everyone's got to be trained, right? So it's been more complicated. So I thought maybe it would be something we'd look at and make things simpler in terms of rink maintenance for the future. And also long term, just to add to that, I thought it'd be interesting to possibly explore having a water source now that we have water at the hall. And I know that there's a water source at the fire hall, right? And I believe that is a steel tank in the ground. And at some point, steel tanks do rust. So, there's a possibility that won't exist in the future at some point. That could be a long ways away, but I thought it might be a great idea to have more central water and a type of cistern that we could fill with a well that can hold water and a pump that can be used to either flood the rink or fill trucks frost-free. Very simple to operate. However, that's more complicated. I'm not necessarily advocating for that in this budget. I just think it should be in the bigger picture. Those were my ideas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So were you looking at doing that in the next budget, Dean, like the 2021?
So my idea for 2021 was to explore the utilization of the water tanks.
Yeah.
And see if we, I don't know the details of them, but I knew that there's a line probably that feeds, that's where our water source was, so we could backfeed probably from a well to fill them. And we could possibly thread in a large valve on the bottom of gravity, use gravity to do floods on the rink. It's an idea, and that's all it is at this point, but I thought it was worth exploring.
Okay, thanks. else have any questions? Sandy?
No.
Dan?
No questions.
Heather?
No, it was very good. I think that's an awesome idea.
I'd just
Okay.
like to add one more thing possibly. And if we do utilize these tanks to try and do some flooding, I know that Jacob puts a lot of water generally to get it started, and it's decreased since our rink liner. But it doesn't necessarily mean we'll eliminate the use of the fire trucks, but we might be able to reduce the use or have access. Maybe the coldest days or something, we wouldn't have to run them. So thank you.
Okay. Jacob?
Yeah, okay. So next, I've received an email from Councillor Cross with some ideas. One was doing something with the band shell, potentially as more storage. The new heating for the workshop. Potentially putting the bar back in the community center. There was the roads department roof, the aging snow blower, and roofs for the bleachers. I'd like to open that up to Councillor Cross to explain some of these ideas, and so council can have some discussion on this as well.
Yeah, the furnace for the workshop area, I know in the past has been brought up before in front of budget, and we've put it aside. I thought that with the changing room being so cold, and if there was a new furnace in the workshop area that we could punch a hole through that and possibly heat the changing rooms and maybe eliminate the electrical baseboard that is probably quite costly in there. That was one thought. The roofs for the bleachers were mentioned quite a bit by the public in the survey. I mean, if it's possible to maybe look at putting the roofs back on the bleachers, if the bleachers would get used more, that would be, something to consider. The bar area was basically pending. Sorry for the noise, guys. I can't mute at the same time.
It's life.
Yeah. The snow blower I know has been giving troubles, and we use that for the ice rink. So I'm a little bit concerned about how much life has left in that. And the bar area was basically pending on if we were going to be able to get storage container to clear out. So that was just things that I thought that we could possibly think of for the future.
Anybody have anything that they'd like to interject in that? Dan?
Sure. I think the repurposing the band shell is probably a good idea, as it's not being used right now, and it does have a roof and a floor and some structural. So it looks like with a bit of walls and some things we could repurpose that. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about the idea of actually using for storage. It's still not a convenient location for storage. Just a little bit far from the hall and a little bit in front of the rink where it is. I don't think it's an ideal place for storage. But resurface it as a change room for the ice rink. I could see that being a warm-up room, because the warm-up room is a little bit small. It's really can only hold 4 or 5 people in there, and it's full. Not that you need a lot of space there anyway. But if we were to continue on developing the rink, I think that building probably could be used as a warm-up building for the rink. Would be one way of repurposing it, because we all know that building's kind of become we call it dyed or white elephant. I can't think of the right
White
word.
elephant.
But the other thing is, I don't want to make like two wrongs to make it right. So I don't want to repurpose it and then find that that's not ideal neither. So we have to think about that, and it should be part of our big plan of how we're going to develop the area around the hall and how things are put in there. So it's not so just dropped. Everything is dropped in one randomly, and things are not really organized in a logical way. The bar at the hall, I don't know if we're ever going to get back to times when people are going to start renting the hall again, but it's one of the reasons why they don't rent the hall is because the bar is not in it. A lot of things that were taken out of the hall, I hear from residents that they question that, like, why are you guys tearing the hall apart? Why are you taking the roof off the bleachers? I hear that a lot in the community. And but now that it's done, it's hard to go back and redo it because, especially with the roof on the bleachers, if we're not having any baseball games there, I can't really support putting more money into the bleachers. But it is a safety issue where the ball comes over and lands into the bleachers. With the roof there, at least there was some protection before, but there's no protection for the foul balls that tend to come over that side most often. So it was nice having the roof there before. I just wish at the time it would have been repaired instead of ripped down completely. I think it had a little bit of lean to it, and that's why they decided to take it down. And that was it. I thought that along with the snowblower, if we were to put more money into that, it'd be nice to get something that would clean the ice a bit better than it does, because the snowblower leaves about a half inch of hard snow on top of the ice, and it's actually hard to skate on that. And someone has to go over it afterwards with a scraper and scrape the snow that's left behind by the snowblower. So perhaps investing in some ice making equipment that, some type of flooding devices that could put a skim of water on top that would just give it a smooth surface. We had something like that. There are devices out there that you can purchase that aren't Zambonis, but they're flooding tanks, or they're flooding. They're a lot less complicated and less expensive, but it might help us get better ice surface on the rink. Because last year we did have some problems with the surface being cracked and have holes in it quite often. The real cold weather, sometimes what happens is that the ice freezes so fast that it gets a lot of pressure packs, so sometimes it can be too cold to be making ice too, because you don't get good quality ice. So that's all I had to say.
Thanks, Dan. Heather, anything to add?
Well, I agree. Perhaps repurposing that building for a warm-up room, it sounds like a good idea. Because he's right, it's not being used adequately. So I think Jacob's on the right path there. Also, I didn't send this in, but when you got the letter from Vic Fidelli on November 30th, he says that they're having funding for seniors for economic diversification and competitiveness stream. So I thought that we could perhaps apply for this for our track, so the seniors can have a safe place to walk with their rollators and even like a wheelchair. So I was wondering, because we only have till February 1st to apply for it, I thought we could go for that.
That's it?
Yep.
Is that all, Heather?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Dean, do you have anything you want to bring forth?
Well, I think there's a lot of good ideas that councillors are presenting, and the staff as well. And I'd like to consider them all. I do think it's likely hard to justify a roof for me, a roof on the bleachers just because of the usage, not being high. But yeah, and so I support all the ideas really, and that I'd like to see a little bit more information on them. I don't think any of them are crazy. They're all great. And the furnace in the workshop area, I just we'll just have, if we invest in a furnace, I'd like to just have some further discussions around temperature and just to make sure that the building is sealed up in terms of the door seals. And I believe last year I might have observed a door that was leaking. But I'm not sure if that was a heated portion or not. I don't know. But just some of the things to make sure we're not wasting any energy. And yeah, those are my comments. Thank you.
Jacob, do you have anything else that you'd like to offer?
No, I don't have anything else to offer. I just want to summarize all the ideas to make sure I've got them all written down. I have rink water, possibly for flooding, possibly for fire hall. Band shell repurposing. It's still unclear as what the final purpose will be, but there'll be further discussion on that. I'm taking it through the strategic plan. Heat for the rink, possibly switching over to propane. Possible cost of switching the storage back into a bar space. Pricing on a snow blower, pricing on ice making equipment. Costing to put roof, just the roof over the baseball field bleachers, or do you want the soccer field bleachers included in that as well? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of heads nodding, so I'm just going to go with the baseball bleachers. And then you want to see the walking track brought back into the budget again this year as well.
Well, not necessarily budget. We have there's a special fund for that.
Yeah,
we can apply for.
It would wind up going in. It would wind up showing in one of my budgeted lines, even though the money's coming in through a grant somewhere else. We still have to count for the money going out somewhere.
Okay. Yep.
Just so we're like, these are all the ideas there's to be included in the budget, so I can start working on costing that early in the new year. Unless I don't believe I've missed anything. If anyone I have, please bring it to my attention now and I can add it to my list.
Okay. I think it's important for us to keep in mind what the survey said when we're planning some of these things next year. Okay, that's all I want to say about that. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we'll, there's next item on the agenda is report from Shane Conrad, written report. Not much on there right now. Any comments on that, Sandy?
No.
Dan?
No comment.
Heather?
No.
And Dean?
No comment.
Okay, we'll move on here. Next item on the agenda is reports from committees, with which we have none, and then next item after that, number 6, is action letters. So the first item there is adopt the minutes of the Tuesday, November 24th, 2020. Excuse me. So everyone's had a chance to look at that. So I'll need a mover and a seconder to do this. Dan, could you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Dean, could you second it?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Dan, seconded by Dean, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, November 24th, 2020 be hereby adopted and signed as circulated. Is there any discussion on that? Andy?
No discussion.
Dan?
No discussion.
Heather?
No discussion.
Dean?
No discussion.
Okay, so we'll vote to accept these. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is adopt the minutes of Tuesday, December the 8th, 2020 of our special council meeting. So I'm going to need a mover and a seconder for that as well. Heather, could you move that one?
Yes.
Thank you. And Sandy, could you second that one?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Councillor Olmsted, second by Councillor Cross. The minutes of the special meeting of council held on Tuesday, December the 1st, 2020 be hereby adopted and signed as circulated. Any discussion, Sandy?
No discussion.
Dan?
No discussion?
Heather?
No discussion.
And Dean?
No discussion.
Okay, so we'll call for vote for this to accept these minutes. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes. Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda was a report from Clerk Treasurer, 2020 CT 58, is a report to Council of the Emergency Control Group meeting held on November 25th, 2020. Anything on there that you would like to discuss, Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
No discussion?
Councillor Olmsted?
No discussion.
And Councillor Grant?
No discussion.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is bylaw 2020-025. It's an amendment to the fees and charges bylaw, and there was two readings last meeting, and this one here is a third reading. It's an amendment for the charges for the hall. So I need a mover and a seconder for this one as well. Councillor Cross, can you move this one?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Grant, could you second this one?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. So we have a moved by Councillor Cross, second by Councillor Grant. Of this being a bylaw to amend the bylaw to impose and consolidate the fees and charges for municipal services or activities and for the use of its property. And as reported by Committee of the Whole, to read the third time passed number 2020-25, and that the said bylaw be signed by the Mayor and Clerk, sealed with seal of the corporation, and be engrossed into the bylaw book. Any discussion on this? Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
And no discussion?
Councillor Olmsted?
No discussion.
And Councillor Grant?
No discussion.
Okay, I'm going to call for a vote to approve the third reading. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So this third reading is passed. Okay. Next item on the agenda is E, Crime Stoppers, support for the January 2020 as it's Crime Stopper Month. Excuse me. So we have a resolution in front of us. I'll need a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Maxwell, could you move this one, please?
Yes, can?
And Councillor Olmsted, could you second this one?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Dan, second by Heather, that the Council of the Corporation of Municipality of Calvin supports Crime Stoppers in declaring January 2020 as Crime Stoppers Month. And further, that the Corporation of Municipality of Calvin will promote Crime Stoppers Month on our social media platforms in January 2021. Any discussion on this? Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
No discussion.
Councillor Olmsted?
No discussion.
And Councillor Grant?
No discussion.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a vote to proceed with this. Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
And Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. That'll look good on our webpage and places. Thank you very much. So the next item on our agenda is Municipality of Calvin Roads Department and a road agreement for further work and/or maintenance on the unopened, unassumed road allowance for portion of Trahan Road. So we have a resolution in front of us. I need a mover and a seconder for this. Councillor Olmsted, could you move this one?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And Councillor Cross, could you second this one, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So we have a resolution moved by Councillor Olmsted, seconded by Councillor Cross, that the council requests the road superintendent to contact the property owners who have done some work on a portion of the unopened, unassumed road allowance of Trahan Road and request that they enter into a road agreement with the municipality to perform work and maintenance on the unopened, unassumed road allowance of Trahan Road. Any discussion, Councillor Cross?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
I'd just like a bit more information on the what's happening here in terms of is this sort of the repercussions of doing the work? Is this as far as it's going? Is this what we're doing to deal with the situation? Or is the conservation authority involved? Anybody else involved in this? It's
my understanding that conservation is still involved, but this is what we're doing towards it. But Chris, are you still there? I'm not sure if Chris is there.
I'm still here.
Oh, there.
Do you know if the MNR and the Conservation Authority is still involved in this situation?
Yeah, I know that the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority has asked them to stabilize the site.
Oh, lost you.
They do not intend to proceed with anything further. The MNR is still kind of thinking about it. And as far as the municipality, encourage them.
Some difficulty hearing you, Chris.
I'm sorry.
Would you have any information on that, Cindy?
I don't know as much as Chris does. I do know that the Conservation Authority, they asked the person to stabilize the site because there was some water involved in it. I'm not sure if there was anything further that the MNR did or not. I'd have to ask Chris.
That's fine. I'm satisfied with that answer. I'm okay. I have no other concerns.
Okay, thanks, Ann. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Cindy. Any discussion on your part, Heather?
I just wondered if the property owners are receptive to a road agreement or whether we're just going to enforce this, or on the other end, do we have any recourse that we can use right now? If they fixed everything with the MNR, is it really necessary and they could just be with a warning? I don't know. I want to have a good relationship. I don't want to be, mean. I think they didn't have ill intent, and I hope they're making everything right. I just would like to know, what their communication with us is like.
I think Chris reported at one of our last meetings that he had contact with the people, and that they were open to discussion. This step that we're taking here now for the road agreement is just to continue with that relationship with the party and make sure that they follow the rules in the future.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else, Heather?
No, thanks. That's good. Thank you.
Okay. Dean?
I just had a question about the agreement itself. Would this be the agreement that we worked to draft previously, or would it be a different version? What would the agreement look like?
I'm not sure. I think that all agreements are a little bit different, but it'd be nice if Chris could respond to that. I don't know if your telephone's working any better or not, Chris.
Mayor Pennell?
Yes.
I can answer that. It will be the road agreement that we drafted back in the summertime, but you are correct that it has to be amended slightly based on the circumstances. So, it's not, each one isn't 100% identical, but they're kept as consistent and the same as possible.
So does that answer your question, Councillor Grant?
It does. I just would like to voice an opinion on this. I don't see. I'd like to, before I support this, I'd like to see more details on the agreement to make sure that there's not what I would consider unreasonable insurance requests or things that I think would hinder these people greatly. And I assume there wouldn't be. I can't. I'm just voicing my opinion. I can't support the motion without a little bit more information, to make sure that it's in my opinion. So, thank you.
Okay.
So, Mayor Pennell, can I answer that?
Yes.
The insurance clause was removed from the road agreement, and it won't be put back in. That was a council decision.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There wouldn't be anything in terms of insurance added back in.
Okay, I guess that's my main concern is that they're not required to have like 10 million or something just to do simple things to access the property, right? I think it's just about being reasonable and transparent and fair. And so, if I have that assurance here from staff, I will definitely go ahead. That is my main concern. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to call this to a vote, whether we proceed with requesting a road agreement from the party. So, Councillor Cross, do you vote yes or no to proceed?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell, yes or no to proceed?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted, yes or no to proceed?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you very much. Okay.
Mayor Pennell.
Yes.
I'd like to add, I'm going to resubmit my declaration of conflict of interest and add item G as well to it.
I didn't hear you. Sorry, Dean.
I'm going to resubmit my conflict of interest and add item G, which is just this report. We are on a report, right?
Yes,
Yes, so I declared on on item H, and I'm going to declare on item G just in case there's some discussion as well.
so G and H, right?
And the reason will be the same. Item involves Stewart's Road, and I declare because family owns property on the road.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure if we require anything in writing, but you've declared it in public, so I think that's good. So the next item on the agenda is a report from the clerk treasurer, and it's regarding municipal engineer service, for, engineering service for, some information on Stewart's Road and other roads within the municipality. I guess everyone's had a chance to read that. Is there anything further that you'd like to say about it, Cindy?
No, council asked or requested that I find out how much it would cost for our municipal engineer to do an investigation,
Right.
and the estimated cost is $2,400 plus HSC, as indicated.
Yeah.
I
So
have a
that
question.
was what you were asked to do going forward.
I have a
Okay.
question, Mayor Pennell.
Yes,
Cindy,
please.
did you ask if it was necessary?
Yes, I did ask if it was necessary. He feels that's a council's decision. If they want the
So it's not necessary
information
for the
to make an appropriate or an informed decision, then he's more than happy to do the investigation for us. But there's a cost involved. So.
Well, my concern is if that road's not good enough, then a whole bunch of roads aren't good enough, and it's going to cost a lot more than we anticipate. So it's not a can of worms I'm willing to open. That was my concern. That's why I wondered if it was even necessary for us to get an engineer for their opinion. It's an unnecessary cost.
That was a request of council to do that?
Yeah.
That's why it was.
Yeah, it was. No. My point was or to ask even if it was necessary, right? Because nobody knew that whether it was necessary or not, right?
What was necessary, Heather?
To change the designation or to find out how much it would take to make it into a full-time road. Right?
Okay.
Because at one time, we can just say it's a grade 5 or 6 road and adopt it and slowly bring it up to standards. Because $2,400 would go a long way to gravel, at $300 a load. That would bring a few dozen loads in there. So I think, instead of costing more problems, let's just solve the problem.
I guess if you're thinking that would solve the problem.
Yeah.
I know one past estimate that we had, I'm just being a devil's advocate here, was around $40,000 to $50,000 to bring that road up to standard. So $2,400 is a long way away from that. So I think it would be prudent on behalf of council to find out, excuse me, what the cost of that would be to bring that road up to municipal standards.
To what level, though?
Whatever the municipality requires to be able to maintain it. I'm not sure of the level.
So we maintain level 5 and 6 levels.
I don't have that expertise. I think Chris does, and for sure this engineer would. So that's another reason for getting the report done.
I'm just concerned whether if that road isn't adequate and we have evidence that it's not adequate, then we're going to share that to a lot of other roads and that's not adequate and it's going to cost us a lot more money.
With
I
the
understand
exception
what you're
of,
saying. Pardon
with the
me?
exception, this is an unopened road, it's not it's a seasonally maintained road, where some of the other ones are already maintained?
Right, so Patwa Road, have you been down that road?
Which one?
Patwa? It's off of Peddlers. Just one person lives down it. It's a horrendous road. We maintain that road. A lot of them, like Van Dolers and although Bonfield, we have an agreement with Bonfield, but Trout Lake Road, those are both very horrendous roads, and they're not seasonal. So I'm thinking if we set the bar and say, okay, so this is where our minimum standards are, then we're going to have to spend thousands on those roads as well. That's not seasonal, you know. That's my
could be.
point. Yeah.
So then are you
that's my-
suggesting that we don't do this and we just leave that road the way it is?
I'm suggesting that we adopt it as a level 5 or 6 road. I think that Chris has the expertise to say what level that road is, and then perhaps in the future bring an engineer in to investigate all the roads, and then eventually we can bring all the roads up to what standards are. But this says we're just focusing on one. Well, that's going to open a can of worms.
Okay. All right, so we kind of have to, next one here. I'm looking at the resolutions. Okay, so the next, that's this one here. That's giving us the information on the report, right? So,
except that
does anyone else have anything they want to offer? I think I went around the table already. So I'm going to go to the next item on the agenda, which was the resolution on the report, basically. So I have a resolution in front of us. I need a mover and a seconder to bring it forward to discuss it. Can you move that one? Dean can't. Dan, can you move that one, please?
Yes, okay.
And Sandy, can you second that one?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So we have a resolution in front of us. Hello? Who is that?
It was me,
Sandy.
Ian. I didn't really have I think you had gone around the table. I believe that this had come forward because it was requested by a family on that road to know the number. They wanted it in writing where we came up with the estimate of the cost to bring the road up to standards. The only way we can do that is by having a municipal civil engineer look at that, because nobody else is qualified to give that estimate. So that is why I thought this originally came forth and became a resolution. If I'm wrong, please correct me, because I was pretty sure that's why this was on the table in the first place, because it was requested by the family on Stewart's Road.
I believe it was requested by one of the councils as well. So we're going to go on
I did ask where. Okay, no, I did ask where the $50,000 invoice came from, but you said it was an estimate. But still, there'd be one on file. I want to know who gave that estimate.
It was the engineer and the, I guess it was the engineer that had estimated it.
Yeah,
okay, so the next item on the agenda is this resolution. So I have a resolution moved by Dan, second by Sandy, that council hereby requests the clerk treasurer to further investigate the requirements of what would cost to upgrade Stewart Road to a year-round maintain road, as well as the costs involved in annual maintenance for Stewart's Road. In addition, the investigation will also include whether all the municipality of Calvin roads meet provincial standards, and if it's legislated that the municipal roads be required to meet these provincial standards. The investigation will include consultation and a report from a municipal engineer to explore the options available to the municipality and provide the supporting documentation of the findings. The estimated cost associated for the municipal engineer to investigate and prepare a report is $2,400 plus HST. Okay, so we've had discussion on this. I'm going to call it to a vote whether to proceed with having the engineer do that cost estimate for us.
I was waiting till you read the formula you usually do is we read the resolution and then we discuss it after that. So that's why I hadn't been asked for my opinion
Okay.
yet. I was waiting for that opportunity.
Okay, we did discuss the report, so we can discuss this. Sandy, do you have anything you'd like to bring forward?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Maxwell?
I just said I heard Heather's opinion, and I found it very interesting, that idea that, but I think that the idea of what she said. I think it's important that we have the numbers, though. That I know I don't like spending money, and I don't like spending $24,000 on someone to do this estimate. But I think that's very important that we have the facts here, because this issue has been constantly keeps rising up, and it hasn't been going away. But I think that we should get the information that we need, and even if it's going to cost us money like this, I think that we should go ahead with it. I was a bit on the fence. I wasn't sure because I don't like spending money like that, but I'm thinking that we may have to get some answers, either one way or another. That's all I have to say.
Anything further?
No, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Heather, back to you.
I said my piece. I just think there's
Okay.
can of worms.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to call for a vote on this now then. Councillor Cross, do you vote to proceed with this report or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted, do you vote yes or no?
No.
Councillor Grand has declared a conflict. I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried to proceed. Thank you all. Okay. Next item on the agenda is further discussion regarding formal complaint policy. And Councillor Grant has submitted some information, some good information. You want to speak on your submission, Dean?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a very. I sent in quite a short email, and essentially, I just want to keep harping on the point that I don't want to water it down, but I believe even in the training that we just did, that he mentioned that there is room for complaints to be handled before the integrity commissioner. And I think he actually mentioned an internal process. Now, I don't want to get into a complicated internal process. I don't think we have the staffing to handle that. So I strongly support having something in here for councillor complaints, and simply as an option to almost state the obvious, because residents, they should know that they can come to us if they have a complaint, and they can bring it direct to us. And it's up to us, to respond if we choose to as councillors, right? And that's the way it works now, and I think we should just mention it in our complaint policy. And so that's what my email says. It says that we could even add something. If it made others more comfortable, that The complainant will be notified at any time they can proceed to use the integrity commissioner, and this section does not interfere with that option. Yeah.
So
and
what would you suggest
Go ahead, Nick.
if we did have a complaint against the counselor? What would your method be? I'm just curious about that. Like, how would we handle that?
So what I would envision here in the policy is that that complaint would likely have to come to the clerk or direct to a counselor. And if it came direct to a counselor, then that counselor would be up to them to decide how they choose to respond. And if it came to the clerk, it would be forwarded to the counselor named in the complaint, and then the counselor would decide how they would respond. We can iron out the details in terms of, how that works with confidentiality, but I envision something simple, not complicated, and that person will be notified at any time that they can, if they're not satisfied, they can proceed to the integrity commissioner, which is what they would do now right away in most cases, or even be advised to do. So please, if there's more questions, I will take them, because I don't think, I don't want it to be complicated, and everything is complicated, but I think there's a way we can do this responsibly, let me say, and hopefully avoid some costs.
Yeah, it's nice to
May I
avoid
offer a
costs.
scenario? Pardon me?
Please do.
Oh,
Go ahead, Heather.
So I was thinking that perhaps there would be like a stage 1 if it was against a counselor and it was some quasi serious or whatever. We could offer up options to the citizen that made the complaint. So say that I'm just going to give a scenario. The person saw the person doing inappropriate things, inappropriate actions. Then us as a group can get together by email, whatever, say whether you think it's just, can you just apologize to the person? Would that be, I think we have a pretty good grasp of what's dangerous and against the law, or just a little mistake. And so I we're adults, and I think that it could save us a lot of money. We just say, oh, geez, sorry, and make a statement of sorry. We don't need to go right to the integrity commissioner because it costs us thousands.
I think it should be always up to the individual who's launching the complaint as to what they would like to see happen. Ideally, it would be nice not to cost us any money.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was something as simple as an apology or something like that, then I wouldn't want to see that one going to an integrity commissioner. But
that's exactly it. But we don't have a precursor to that right now, right? So
we don't have what?
with the person, we don't have another option. So if a citizen was to come into the office, I have a complaint, it goes directly to the integrity commissioner. There's no pre-integrity commissioner. So options are always going to be given, but there's 2 options. Mostly people just want an apology. 9 times out of 10, it's because people's feelings got hurt or miscommunication, and a quick conversation could solve everything.
Yeah, sometimes I think it could.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is up to that individual, right?
Yeah, but there's got to be 2 options, not just 1, right?
Yeah, there's probably more than 2.
Probably.
Okay, good thought. Anything further, Dean?
Yeah, I just want to add on that, that it would, the way I would envision this is it would be up to, obviously, the individual making a complaint has a choice of decisions they can make. Just give them an option to make a direct complaint to a counselor. And then obviously it would be up to an individual counselor to how they choose to respond, whether at all. Because to me, this is all about choice. And I don't like to use hypotheticals or examples, but there are simple things, maybe misunderstandings and things I think could be solved in this fashion. And there's other things that, warrant, other things that could happen that would warrant an investigation. And then I don't think that this simple process would solve those issues. So, I don't see an incredible rush, and I don't want to, I don't want any, I don't think that we need to be uncomfortable with this idea. If others need time to think about it, if we need time to consult staff on further, I think that it would be worth doing. And those are my thoughts. And yeah, thank you.
Do we want to reach out to anyone to see what their thoughts might be? Somebody professional or with more experience than we have?
Panel, if I may, I know that we did reach out to the Integrity Commissioner for their comment as well, because there are some comments on it. And I mean, the Integrity Commissioner, although a not-for-profit, and although they've been, very nice, that there's a maybe a motivation, in some cases, financially for investigations. It's just
no, I wouldn't say they if they were doing something wrong, they would be in trouble, right?
Well,
that would be like fraud, right? So
no, it's not necessarily fraud. It might be bias. I mean, it surrounds us every day. Is all I'm suggesting. I'm not suggesting fraud by any means. I'm a plumber. Like if pipes are frozen or things leak,
they're suggesting that they're trying to make money from doing something they shouldn't be doing. Right?
No,
that's what I just heard you say.
No, I didn't say they were trying to make money. I said that they will make money from investigations, right? So it could be some potential bias. That's all. And it would be natural. It would be no fraud or unnatural. They have guidelines and policies to follow.
Yes.
I'm not suggesting that. But if we do get advice, maybe I'm sure there's got to be other municipalities that have possibly an introductory thing, and maybe even Brian Steer can comment, because I believe in his training he mentioned multiple streams. He mentioned internal. Some municipalities have internal complaint. What do they call ethics commissioners? We don't have that. I don't envision we're going to have that, but I think there's a way we can do it.
Okay, thanks. Dan, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, that's a difficult one. Investigating a counselor to have ourselves investigate ourselves is kind of a challenging one. We do have to have some type of mechanism there where a counselor have a complaint put forward towards them. I'm not sure what the answer is, though.
And I think we want to be transparent, like all the time. And somebody thinks that we're doing an investigation or something within our ranks, then that might be thought to be wrong. Okay, and I wouldn't want anyone to think that or say that about us. But all good thoughts. Sandy, did you have anything you wanted to talk about with Dean's ideas?
I think as it stands, anybody can come to a counselor if they have a complaint against them. I don't necessarily know if it really needs to be put in writing. It could also act as the opposite. If people feel that they have to talk to the counselor they're complaining about, it may deter them from doing it. From what I read through what the Integrity Commissioner said here, that if there's no basis to the complaint, it's dismissed. So there wouldn't really be a cost that would be extravagant if there was no basis to the complaint. And I really don't like the other comment that was put in here about a contradiction to the code of conduct. That's why we have the code of conduct. And if we were to put something in a policy, I think that we would have to disclose at the bottom of the policy that we are going against what the code of conduct is stating us to do. I mean, I definitely don't want to see anybody incur any more costs for this. It's a difficult one. You want everybody to feel that they can come and openly talk about situations. But if they feel like they can't, if they're going to be put on the hot spot, that is something to consider as well. And I wouldn't like to think that people wouldn't want to talk about something that was bothering them if they felt that they were going to be confronted by one of us. That may be deterrent. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, we have to be careful about that. Heather, I don't know if we heard a lot from you.
First of all, thanks, Dean. I know you did a lot of extensive work on this, so thank you very much. And if we were to get some advice, probably Brian would be the best tool to access. I know other municipalities have stages. We're not the only one, and we will never go against our code of conduct. So there would not have to be a disclosure. That's it.
Okay. So that was some discussion on this. I don't know if we really come to any conclusion on it other than maybe we contact Brian and see what his thoughts are on a two-stage complaint policy for councillors. Would you be able to do that, Cindy?
Absolutely.
Or bring it to our next meeting to have us get you to do that?
I absolutely can investigate it further. I just do want to point out that I did contact him as well as the Integrity Commissioner. It is in the report. So
okay.
There is an initial response from our municipal advisor, but I will investigate further based on the information that he provided at the training session.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the next item. And again, it's Councillor Grant's going to tell us about the Conservation Authorities Act. There's a lot of stuff out there about Schedule 6. So can you go ahead there, Dean?
Yes, I will. Thank you. So Schedule 6, so everyone's aware, it passed this morning. So the following, I believe there's a resolution of support here. No, is there a resolution of support on this or not, Cindy?
Mm-hmm.
No, there's not. Okay.
From our council? No, there is not. There is from the Conservation Authority.
Okay. All right. So it passed this morning essentially. So the conservation had wanted us, had recommended, the board had suggested that we also, that I present this this letter to you of support. However, due to time constraints, it would never have made it before it passed, which was this morning. So that's why I did not bring it forth. Essentially, it's quite complicated, but Schedule 6 is changes to the Conservation Act that were kind of last minute included in a budget type thing for the province. So they did not get they didn't get any debate on the floor, and quite a few groups across the border were upset about the rushed proceedings of Schedule 6. They make some changes to the board. Essentially, non-elected members can't be a part of the board, which affects one of our board members, who's public, individual to the public. And it's going to make changes on core and our mandated and non-mandated services that have not been determined yet. And, not to get into, I guess to simplify it for everyone, essentially we're going to it's understood that we're going to have to, as a municipality, negotiate with the Conservation Authority on these core and non-core services. And municipality is going to have to negotiate separately. Or sorry, the conservation is going to have to negotiate separately with all the municipalities. So there's highly likely we'll see some changes, in the future. And I believe the deadline for all this was, I think it's 2 years or something to comply with all these changes. So, next year I'm sure they'll be exploring it, and we're going to see some changes when it comes to levies and things with the Conservation Authority. And I don't know if anybody's got any questions, but essentially it does give more power to municipalities, and it gives a little bit more power to the province on development projects, and options to appeal. Yeah. I don't know if anybody has any questions, let me know, but I can unpack more of this for you as well if need be. But it's a quick rush thing. Most of the comments out of the Conservation Authority is they're not really sure what the effects are going to be. Some of them minor, probably for us, not huge effects, except we're going to have to renegotiate, and there's going to be some big changes with budgets at the authority on these, what they consider mandatory and non-mandatory services. Thank you.
When will that happen, Councillor Grant?
Well, it just passed this morning. They found out about it, I think, about 3 weeks ago, essentially when they found out about these changes. Some of these changes have been in the works for a year. Some of them are quite abrupt. Essentially, as a board member, I don't fully understand. I haven't been asked for information, and Chair Dave Mendocino has assured me that I'll get it, but I don't have a lot of solid answers for you on what this actually means for us.
Okay. Probably better to have things sooner or later, because we're still going to be doing development and going forward, right? All municipalities, really, right? So.
Yeah, I think that from a municipal perspective, from our perspective of council, I think it's just going to be a little bit. I don't think we're going to see a fundamental change, to be honest. I say fundamental, there will be some changes, but for the way we do business, I think it's going to be relatively normal. The only thing is that when we look at the levy and they determine what their core, what their mandated and non-mandated services, whatever the terms they use are, because we may be able to negotiate actually a better levy, or we have to negotiate that with them. So that will be interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah. Sandy, do you have any questions of Dean?
No, I don't.
Dan?
I did find it a little confusing. There was a lot of support or resolutions, letters for support, and I wasn't really sure what was going on.
Yeah, it is extremely confusing. That's why I'm kind of talking around the issue right now a little bit, because I actually don't have a lot of the facts as well. And that's part of why there was actually an overwhelming, I would call it an overwhelming negativity towards these changes, and having to do with just the lack of clarity and time to determine what the results will be. But I think a lot of it will be internal issues in the authority, and for municipalities, it potentially could be not so bad. We might get more power for development decisions as well.
Dan, you have anything you want to ask Dean?
I did read about this in the news a little bit. So I think I understand. It sounds like it's another Southern Ontario issue. They're trying to, developers are trying to get hold of the green belt that's been Conservation Authority has been protecting for years. And it sounds like that's where the battle is down there, to get access to that green belt around Toronto developed. And so that's why they're grabbing some power there from the Conservation Authority to do that. So I don't know if it'll affect us much, but I think we should support the resolution or send a supporting resolution if that's what they're requesting. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Heather?
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Okay.
Just one more note to Dan's comment. I would agree. In my personal opinion, most of these changes are for Southern Ontario, likely for specific conservation authorities that may have issues, or may not be run the same as North Bay and Ottawa is, because I don't think that we have the issues in our conservation authority that some of the others may have, and these changes don't. I think they're probably more negative than positive for our authority, but it's yet to be seen. There's still lots to figure out.
I agree, but it's already been passed, so it is going to be some changes, right? So they have to follow that, right? So right now. I like the idea of supporting this, like it's kind of putting the cart before the horse. But I think we should still make our feelings known on it. So I guess we can ask to bring something back that we support this, the government not passing this Schedule 6, although it's been done already, or that we disagree with it. Everybody in agreement?
Yeah, since it's already passed, I would suggest maybe we just would maybe not agree with it.
Or disagree, right?
Yeah, disagree with the rushed changes, because it's there's a lot of people are like, my main concern from what I know is just actually most of what I don't know. I think it's rushed. I think that's my main issue, is the rush of it, not necessarily the changes, because we just don't know. We don't have time to look at the results, what the effects might be.
I think that the conservation authorities should have, if they wanted our support, they should have educated us a little bit more. Not just the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, but all conservation authorities. So do we want to send something saying that we disagree with how this was passed and ask the government to reconsider? Sandy?
Yes.
Dan?
Well, Dean was kind of saying that it's probably not worth it right now. It's probably sort of a done deal. So I don't know if we should be wasting our time doing it. It's kind of a bigger issue than ours. It's like it's a provincial issue. I don't think they're going to hear it anyway. But I don't know.
So
That's
you
all.
don't support it?
I'm on the fence still.
Heather?
I think it's kind of late. I don't know the, particulars. I would like to know the particulars before I make a decision, because it seems everything's vague. So maybe it's a wait and see thing.
All right. So much for that then. Let's move on.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is closure of outdoor washrooms. So this has been recommended. So I need a mover and a seconder for this. Can I get Councillor Cross? Can you move this one, please?
Yes, I can.
And Councillor Olmsted, could you second it?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So we have the resolution moved by Councillor Cross, seconded by Councillor Olmsted. The council hereby authorizes the closure of the outdoor outhouse-style washroom at the municipal grounds rink building to and at the Calvin Union Cemetery 1, due to health and safety concerns regarding the spread of COVID-19, and at the recommendation of the municipal solicitor, and further that the closure of these washrooms will remain in effect until council has deemed it safe to reopen them. Any discussion, Councillor Cross?
So this came forward because of the recommendation from the lawyer, from the solicitor. I guess when I look at Jacob's report with the ice rink, he had a table there, and it showed all of the different municipalities with public skating. There was a huge amount that said they were going to have no public skating, which I would think that they're doing that because they're concerned about passing COVID. I don't really want to see the ice rink not open. I mean, we do have a sign up on the door saying use at your own caution, that it's, but I don't like to ignore what the solicitor is recommending either. So I'm kind of on the fence on this one. That's all.
Okay, Councillor Maxwell.
What is the exact, I'd like to know what the exact word of the solicitor was, that he said, and the reason why that the washrooms should be closed. Because I'm looking at the type of washrooms we have, they're single-use washrooms, so they're not public washrooms where multiple people are in it. So it's actually a place where a person is alone. And then recently they've installed these porta potties in a lot of places along the highway, and I see it's at different places that they're using, they put out there for the public to use. And so I don't see it much different than a porta potty, these types of washrooms that we have. They just have to have hand sanitizer in them, and they seem to be safer than like an open public washroom where there's multiple people using it. But because they're single-use washrooms, I don't see them being any different than a porta potty, which just seems to be everyone's using these days. And so I think they should be left open. But perhaps if I had some more information on why the solicitor says that, it might change my mind. I think I did read it somewhere, but I kind of forgot what it said. Not that long advice from the solicitor. That was regarding the walk or something, wasn't it? A couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just that it provides a very important service. It's different. You're in the city and you can kind of scoot home, or you can find a place to go to the washroom. But when you're at the skating rink and you have a little child with you there, and they say, "I got to go potty," they got to go like now. You don't have time to put them in the car and take them home. You know. So it's a convenient that, and as scary as those washrooms are for kids, they're still better than the alternative. So I don't know. I think they should be left open.
Anything further?
Do we have can Cindy tell us what the solicitor actually said about the washrooms? Was that a direct question about, or was it in general speaking?
I'm not sure.
Give me a moment and I'll see if I can find it.
Heather, do you have any comments?
As long as the bathrooms are being regularly cleaned, and like Dan said, they're single use, and it's kind of important to have, especially out here. And we are still green here. I know the solicitor represents a lot of people, and we're out in the sticks. So I think we could keep them open. Absolutely.
Councillor Grant?
I strongly believe that the washrooms should stay open. If families and people, if we have a rink and we have no washroom facilities, I just disagree with, if we're going to close the washrooms, and that's the safety issue, we got to close the rink. And I don't want to close any of them. I want them all to be open. Use at your own risk. And individuals, I believe our residents are cautious, they're smart, and if they're uncomfortable or they're high risk, then they shouldn't really use certain things. And if they're kids, low risk, maybe they can go for an afternoon skate. So I strongly support the washrooms being open. Thank you.
Let's wait for Cindy to see if she can find that letter.
I actually feel that the change rooms probably should be closed more than the washrooms. The change room is so small and there's multiple people in there. So they should be wearing a mask in there if they're in there with more people. But having change areas outside is a good idea to put a place to put your skates on, or the bench idea. I think that's what a lot of the rinks are doing.
Yeah, they're making, I've seen one thing on TV, I think it was Timmins, that were building benches along the side of the rink so people could sit down on the benches and put on their skates.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so it says, also note the reference to washrooms and washroom building. In many municipalities, public washrooms which are owned by the municipality have been closed because of the possibility of contamination. It would be preferable if your washroom buildings were closed.
Okay, so that's what the solicitor said, and everyone's had a chance to discuss it. So we'll bring it to a vote then. So I'm going to bring a vote that you want to close the washrooms, okay? So Councillor Cross, do you wish to close the washrooms?
Nay.
No? Okay. Councillor Maxwell, do you wish to have the washrooms closed?
No. Is this are we reading this resolution? The one that's...
Yeah, the council hereby authorizes the closure of the outdoor style washrooms.
Okay.
You got that one?
Yes.
Okay. So Councillor Maxwell, do you vote yes or no?
I vote. Okay, the question is
to close the washrooms.
So, no, don't close them.
Okay, so we'll leave them open then, right? Councillor Olmsted, do you vote yes or no to closing the outdoor washrooms?
No.
Okay. And Councillor Grant?
No.
How would you vote?
I vote no.
Okay. I guess I'll go with the majority. I'll vote no as well. Thank you all. So this resolution is carried. But I do feel that we need to have some kind of signage on the building that says use your own risk.
We have that now, don't we?
Mayor Pennell, can I answer that?
Yes, please.
There is a sign on the outside of the washrooms that says use at your own risk.
Okay. All right, great. Okay. Next item on the agenda is item L. It's a consult for the Joint Community Wellbeing and Safety Plan. It's due January 1st, 2021, so like in 3 weeks. Cindy, can you elaborate on that, please?
Back in, I think it was 2019, in the fall, near the end of the year of 2019, a provincial regulation came into effect that indicated that each municipality had to have what's called a community well-being and safety plan. Because we have a police services board, the group of four is what it's called, which entails Calvin, the town of Mattawa, municipality of Matawan, and the township of Papineau-Cameron. The four of us decided it would be more economical, and as a region and as because of the fact that we had a police services board as well, that it would be best if all four of us worked together and adopted the same plan, which we did we started having meetings in January and February of 2020. Unfortunately, COVID-19 hit and those meetings stopped. So just recently, I was contacted by the CAO of the town of Mattawa, and she consulted with a consultant who has quite a bit of experience, has done other plans in the area as well, and comes highly recommended to put together a plan for us, as Mayor Panel indicated, the due date for this is January 1st, 2021, and so far the province has not extended that deadline. So she's asking, there was an invoice I included in the council package that she'd like us to split. This is for his first draft. There's a little bit further work that needs to be done. She estimates a few more hours, around 5 hours this year, and maybe another 10 or so next year to complete the project. So she's asking us to split it between the 4 municipalities. Unfortunately, this was not something that we budgeted for because we had anticipated that our committee was going to do it and put it together. But due to the time constraints, this is the option that's for us. So I'd like council's permission to take the funds out of our working reserve to pay for the work that's been done already, and the little bit extra work that's probably going to be done this year.
Okay, so before we open discussion, I'd like to get a mover and a seconder on this resolution, please. Dan, can I get you to move it, please?
Yes.
And Dean, can I get you to second it, please?
Yes.
Okay, so we have this resolution in front of us, moved by Councillor Maxwell, second by Councillor Grant, that council deems it to be the best interest of the municipality to proceed with the use of a consultant to help prepare a provincially regulated due date of January the 1st, 2021 Joint Community Wellbeing and Safety Plan for the town of Mattawa, Township of Papineau-Cameron, Municipality of Matawan, and the Corporation Municipality of Calvin. Whereas the funds of approximately $1,100 were not included in the 2020 budget, as the hiring of a consultant was not anticipated to be undertaken. Therefore, Council hereby authorizes Clerk Treasurer to transfer funds in the amount of $1,100 from the working reserve to allow this important project to proceed, meet the deadline imposed by the province, and for the expense and revenue to be allocated to the applicable calendar year. So this open for discussion. Councillor Cross.
Yeah, we only had one meeting. It's really too bad that they didn't extend the time frame, but if it's due January, this consultant has done the majority of the work now. We weren't consulted, but I don't see how we can get around it, really. I don't really have anything else to say.
Councillor Maxwell.
No comment.
Councillor Olmsted.
Well, like Sandy said, I think that we're going to be caught with our pants down. It didn't go out for tender, so there's all kinds of things I had problems with, but we really don't have a choice.
Councillor Grant.
That's my.
Yeah, I just think that these deadlines are nice, and I don't think we'll be thrown in jail or that's my opinion. That if we miss a deadline, it won't be the end of the world. But it's being recommended, and I'll likely support the motion or the resolution. Thank you.
Okay. I personally think it was the wrong thing for the CAO Mattawa to do, to make that decision on her own. And Alvina from Pathmel Cameron, create an email to her to that effect. But as you all have stated, unless we want to move ahead with this ourselves, which would cost us a lot more money, then I think we should support this one. So I'm going to call for a vote. So Councillor Cross, you vote to pay this invoice and continue, or not to? Do you vote to pay?
Yay.
Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted?
Yes.
Councillor Grant?
Oh, yes.
I vote yes. So this resolution is carried. Thank you very much, guys. Okay. Next item on the agenda is M. Educational. It's ranked ballots for municipal elections. There was a lot of information in our council package about this. I read through it. I've highlighted some things in it. I don't understand it, and I read it like twice. I don't think it really applies to our municipality, just because of how our elections run up here and the amount of people and seats and that sort of stuff. But it's open for discussion if anyone wants to discuss it. Sandy, do you have anything you want to say about it?
Just repeat what you just said. It was, yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Councillor Maxwell.
No comment.
Councillor Olmsted.
So yeah, for our municipality, you're right, I don't think it's gonna make any difference. But basically the ranked vote would be that even though you have 5 candidates, say, they would, with us, we take every vote. But what they're saying is they're gonna give a certain percentage take away if you were number 2 or number 3 kind of thing. It doesn't make any difference in our little township, that's for sure. It might in Toronto, and I think that's where they're trying to fight it. So there's nothing for us to support, I don't think. Now,
Okay. Thanks, Heather. Councillor Grant?
I agree with choice, and I think it's disappointing the province removed the choice municipalities to use the ranked ballots. But at this point, I don't really want to spend the time on support letters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, everyone's had their say. We can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is information letters. We seem to be getting a pile of things, like just a massive amount of information we're getting every month. A lot of these were in regard to the Conservation Authority Schedule 6. Some of them weren't, though. So, Sandy, is there anything in these letters that you want to bring forward and discuss or support or whatever?
No, the only thing I had here was maybe support the tax exemption for the Veterans Club. And the only other thing that I had a question about was, have we applied for the Rural Economic Development Program?
The red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, that was it.
Okay. Dan, anything there?
No, I was just wondering about that grant program as well, but nothing else I want to support.
Okay. Heather?
no, nothing else I want to support either.
Dean?
Nothing. I'm good. Nothing I'd like to support.
Okay. There's nothing there that I really want to support either, though was an interesting part in D about the cemetery care, and we do pay for that. Then I did think it was item L, the support for amendment to Bill 124, and that was to name contractors, okay, so that they would be held liable for doing something wrong, right? I think that's Schedule 6, lights. And then I had the red highlighted as well. And I don't know how or what we would apply for in there. I had thought of the lights for the rink, but we've already done that. It's not something that we would do. So there was 2 or 3 people asked how we would apply for that. So Cindy, would you be able to tell us that? Or if we do qualify?
I can investigate it, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I just say one other thing? I'd just like to point out item number C.
C?
The C as in cat.
Cat. Yep.
The Roma Insider, broadband connectivity, a municipal roadmap, and municipal primer. Those are the 2 documents that we were waiting for. Originally, we were told that they were going to come from AMO, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, but actually they came from Rural Ontario Municipalities Association, ROMA, instead. So those are the 2 documents that we were waiting for in terms of the citing policy.
Okay, yeah.
So I think it would be a good idea if council took a look at those. I have also contacted our Blue Sky representative and have asked her to come to one of our council meetings in the new year to try and further explain some of what is stated in these documents, just so that council can get a better understanding of what our role would be in applications and how to bring, like what we need to do to prepare to bring better internet here, all those types of things. She wasn't able to do it in December. There was just too many things that needed her attention, but she did state that in the new year she would be more than willing to come.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have nothing there, Dan?
No. Any letters? No, nothing
Heather?
else.
Okay, thank you.
No, nothing
Heather?
else. No, thank you.
And Dean?
Nothing else.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is information letters. And there's one there about the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund. And that we did receive some money from them, I believe, in the amount of 50 grand. Is that correct?
That's the typical amount that we receive every year, yes.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund 2021 workbook. So that's there for you to look at. Excuse me. Then after that, there's old and new business. Sandy, do you have any old or new?
Just a little of old that the dishwasher has been officially installed, and I was wondering if it would be possible that the municipality could give a thank you card to Ron and Darren Blay for their time that they spent. I believe Ron spent 3 days installing the electrical for us, and that was by donating his time. And I think at least giving him a card would be, and his son spent a whole day here as well. Just acknowledging their donation would be nice. That's all.
Okay. Can we just do that, or do we have to bring that back at a future meeting, Cindy?
If council's in agreement, I can just send a thank you card.
Is everyone okay with that? Dan?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Cindy? No, not Cindy. Heather, sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
And
Yeah, I'm okay
Dean?
with that, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we can go ahead with that, please. Dan, do you have anything old or new?
Other than we were thinking about what we could apply for the grant money. There's when we were talking about the projects with Jake, I wouldn't want to see us spending too much money on anything this year because we're probably gonna have to have a tight budget again. But if we could maybe come up with a solution to that band shell building, it's sort of to me it's a half-finished building. It's got all the parts there, but it just needs some walls and windows and doors and maybe a heat source, electrical maybe. But maybe if we could get an idea of what we want to do with that and maybe put that as a project shovel ready so that when we do get some money available, that's one of the projects we could perhaps work on. And perhaps a few other projects that we could have ready to go, shovel ready, so to speak, so that we have plans that if we do come across the money where it doesn't come out of our taxpayer base, we can move forward on some of these projects.
Yeah. So we need a directive to move ahead with that, right?
I guess we'd have to have a discussion exactly what the repurposing of the building would be, or maybe some suggestions and discussion.
So do you want to bring something forward at the next council meeting concerning what it could be used for?
Okay.
I'm just asking.
Sure. Are we all good?
Yeah.
I only see one use as a change area for the skating rink. That's the only one I can see. But if anyone else has any other ideas, Sandy mentioned storage too, which is a possibility.
I did see one lady up there with her kids having like a picnic up there, and it was raining, so it was a good place to be that day.
Shelter,
yeah. Okay, thanks for that. Maybe we can all put something together and send it in to Cindy so we can get that itemized, what thoughts we might have on that.
I have one other idea. I just want to put an idea out there that people can think about. I've been kind of thinking about this for a season or two, and I was just wondering about. Occasionally, people come across things about greening the environment, like cutting less grass, for example. And I was wondering about putting some of our grass cutting area aside as a nature reserve area, as where we allow it to grow naturally for birds and butterflies and things like that. Sounds kind of funny, but if we have we cut a lot of grass, for example, behind the baseball diamond, and maybe we have 3 patches in front of the township, like one in front of the garage and the rink, and then there's another one in front of the hall. But perhaps if we took one of those and left it grow in, maybe put some trees in there, but just label it as a nature area, like a bee sanctuary or something like that. It sounds kind of corny, but it would help us. It shows that we're kind of caring about the environment a little bit, and it can be a bit of a showcase for the community, but it also would save us money by not having to cut some sections of grass. I'm just trying to figure out if we support for that, or if it might look unsightly, if the grass not being cut. But if we let wildflowers grow and let it go in a tasteful way, maybe it wasn't all full of garbage or something like that. It could be something that we could consider as a way of being more environmentally friendly and also being saving some money on not cutting as much grass. So just something that I was thinking of. If there's some spots, there's a couple of areas I had in mind, but perhaps I'll drop a map and maybe. But I just want to know if there's support for that idea, or if people feel similar to that concept. or it's everybody like it just like plain like not it's on a golf course, it's like a field. It's like a cut. I think we could use a few more trees around our township property. That's all I'm saying. Our park property. You know, if you had all pines in front of the hall instead of this grass, it'd be kind of nice. Trees. I don't know. It's something I've been thinking about, and I just thought we could bring forward as something we could do, which wouldn't cost a lot of money, but could be improve the environment a little bit. But I want it done tastefully so that it doesn't look like it's just abandoned. Field.
Okay.
I want to see if people thought about that.
So are you gonna put a whole map together?
Okay. Yes, we're working on
You
that.
just said that you would, so I'm asking.
Yes, yes. I've been trying to work on that. I've been trying to get a good aerial shot of the township property and just see what's possible. Obviously,
Okay.
we still want to look
All right.
clean and manicured. Okay.
That sounds like an interesting idea. Councillor Olmsted, anything old or new?
Yes, yes, I do. I'd like to reinstate the Recreation Committee. We already have bylaws in place, and we have people ready to fill those places, the space. Before we were lacking in volunteers. Clearly, we have a different community now. We're not lacking volunteers anymore. So I'd like to reinstate it.
Okay. I don't know what to say. That seems like a weird time to do that, but with COVID.
We can still do outside activities and
Yeah.
like snowmobiling, ATVing, but we just need some leaders, you know, and everything will be safe. We already wear masks when we're on our bikes, and safe when we're doing social distancing outside. We're outside. I don't plan to do anything inside. But we live in the Great White North, and there's a lot of fun to be at. We can organize toboggan days, you know, but everything would be socially distanced. Everything would be safe. I just think the kids have nothing right now, and as well as the adults. And yeah, we already have everything in place to just open that up.
Okay.
You don't have to be next to somebody to go swimming. There are COVID-friendly activities.
Yes. So we'd have to bring that ahead for a suggestion, right? Like to.
Yep.
So can you bring that to the next meeting that you want to do that?
Sure that.
Okay. Councillor Grant, anything old or new?
No, I just want to make one comment on that, and that you know, COVID is if COVID's here to stay, either it's going to go away with a vaccine or it's here to stay. Either way, you know, I agree with bringing the community together, and I think that there's safe and responsible ways to you know to do activities, to have people you know interact, and we you know I guess it's a lot of these like these things that people might want to do or not do in the community is it's the users decide. They decide they're you know if you don't attend, you don't attend, right? And that's if you're feeling at risk, you don't attend, and if you're not, you can. And there's lots of outdoor things that I think will bring people together. It's a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, we just have to keep in mind that if we form a committee again, it's a part of council, part of the municipality. So then there's liabilities that come with that, right? So we just have to keep that in mind if that's what we do. So Cindy, do you have anything older? Sorry, what?
We did discuss about bringing back the rec committee at the beginning when we first came back into council. And there was discussion about people wanting to be paid to be on the committee. And we need 2 counselors to be on the rec committee. So you would need 2 of the counselors to agree to open up the rec committee again. Just a
Yeah, we'd have to look at all the, regulations regarding that.
I have them here.
Is that something you could do, Cindy, for our next meeting? Put something
That's
together
okay.
that what we need to cover to do that, to reactivate the, that committee?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So Cindy, do you have anything old or new?
Yes, I do. So previously, council had shown interest in the ICIP grant, which stands for Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. I did some further investigation into it, and it looks like we could have our public works roof replaced with that. We do have to get some financials. Chris is working on that currently, and the application is due December 21st. So there's a little bit of time constraint for that. But we are working on that, and hopefully that will come to fruition. The other thing is there was a Castle Home meeting last Friday. We're getting closer to the end. The tender has been issued. It is closing at the beginning of the new year. Within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll be contacted to see how we want to proceed with financing. So we're going to have to, council is going to have to decide how they want to proceed, whether they want to pay in one lump sum or they want to finance it over a number of years, that type of thing. And one thing that they did want everyone to be clear of, apparently there was a newspaper article approximately a month ago that came out that said Castle Home received $101 million in funding. That actually, they're not sure where that information came from, but it's incorrect. Castle Home is receiving $2 million.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
What about the 56 million that Vic Fideli announced last year?
What about what?
56 million dollars came from federal government. Vic Fideli announced it. It was a big hullabaloo.
I know they do have some money. I'm not sure how much. Once the RFP comes back, I'm sure they'll tell us what they have and what they need. Right. I think that closes in February, maybe? I'm not sure.
What a long, drag-out fight that was.
Yes, it has. Anything else, old or new, Cindy?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on to the accounts approval report. Everyone had a chance to look at that? So I'll need a mover and a seconder to move forward. 1, 2, 3. Councillor Maxwell, could you move this one?
Yes, Ken.
Thank you. And Councillor Grant, could you second this one?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a resolution in front of us moved by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Grant. That the disbursement dated December 3rd, 2020, in an amount of $29,965.24, excuse me, on December the 8th, 2020, an amount of $19,976.33 be hereby authorized and passed for payment. Excuse me, any discussion on that? Councillor Crofts?
No discussion.
Councillor Maxwell?
No discussion?
Councillor Olmsted?
Department 0317, we share something with East Ferris, just education, the bridge study every 2 years. What does that entail?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what?
Oh, sorry, the municipality of East Ferris, apparently there's a bridge study every 2 years?
Not sure where you're reading.
Department 0317, 261, 20061.
Which, can you tell me the date of the report?
Date December 8th, page 2.
Bridge study every 2 years. Okay. Hold on a minute. This was for engineering services that were provided on February 18th and a bridge inspection that took place on April the 7th. So it's part of the bridge study that there's inspections that are done as well. So that's what that is.
So we don't do our own
by our
inspections?
municipal engineer.
Oh. So is there other people involved then? Do they inspect all the bridges? And that's just our share?
In this study is specific to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are for our bridges.
Yeah, like I just wondered, like if they're, I just wondered why it was under East Ferris. Is it an amalgamation of everything that, say, our CBO does? Which I thought $211 every 2.
No, our municipal engineer works for the municipality of East Ferris. We contract him out.
Oh, okay. There, that's clear to me now. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, older news, Cindy? Oh, sorry, we'll pass that. Okay. So we're going to have a vote on whether we're accepting this disbursements or not. So, Councillor Cross, do you vote to accept them, yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Maxwell, do you vote to accept them, yes or no?
Yes.
Councillor Olmsted, do you vote yes or no?
Yes.
And Councillor Grant?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. So this resolution is carried. Thank you all. Okay, so now we're going to move into closed portion of the meeting. Everyone received an invitation in their email to join. Excuse me. So as per section, okay, so I need to move over to seconder, sorry. So Councillor Grant, can you move this one?
Yes.
Thank you. And Councillor Cross, can you second it, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. So we have the resolution moved by Councillor Grant and seconded by Councillor Cross that this portion of the meeting now be closed under Municipal Act 2001 as per section 239-2D, labor relations or employee negotiations, and 639-2D, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including a municipal or local board employees, personnel update. I need a vote on that. Okay, so Sandy, do you agree to move into the closed portion of the meeting now?
Yes, I do.
Councilor Maxwell,
Yes.
Councilor Olmsted,
Yes.
and Councilor Grant.
Yes.
Okay, and I do as well. So we're going to close this part of the meeting now, and then you got an invitation in your email for the closed portion. So we'll log off here and go into the closed portion. Okay? See you in there.
Mayor, can we
Oh,
have
sorry.
5 minutes? Can we have 5 minutes for a washroom
Okay.
break?
It's about 9:45 now, so say is 10 to 10, okay?
That's good for
Or is
me.
that too fast?
No, that's good.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
But just a couple minutes. Yeah.
We got 10 to 10. Thank you.